My next guest has been writing since high school, but never came serious about it until a skiing accident laid her up for an entire summer. Then she decided to get out the old word processor to combat her boredom. A couple years later, her first urban fantasy novel, Fade to Black, was released and became a finalist in the Rocky Mountain Fiction Writers Colorado contest. By day, she's a dedicated speech language therapist in an inner city school district, but her life as a writer is her true passion, and her creative outlet keeps her sane. So please welcome Sue Duff. We first met at Comic-Con.
Right.
Sort of met. I was just behind the camera then.
Right.
And then they're like, oh, let's put him in front of the camera for some reason. And now you're back here in our studio.
Yes, this is wonderful.
So catch us up. What have we missed since Comic-Con back in July, I think it was?
Well, you know, I've finished the 4th book in the series. It's a 5-book series.
Okay.
And so the first 3 were out by the time we met.
Okay.
And then since then, I also am a writer for Wicked Ink Books. And it's a group of Colorado women authors, and we put together short stories into anthologies. And our anthology had just come out when we met, our first one, and I've already been working on the second one. So yeah, put out a novel and a short story and an anthology each year, and it keeps me busy.
All in less than a year. That's incredible.
Right.
So talk more about the women's writers. What was it called again?
Wicked Ink Books.
Wicked Ink Books. So talk about that. How did you get involved with that? What is that exactly?
Well, it's you know, we all kept running into each other. We slowly became friends over the years, you know, going to conferences, just writer events. And most of us had self-published. One was traditionally published, and we just decided to go on a retreat one spring. Fun. And we had such a great time. We were so productive that we sat around and probably had one too many drinks that night and just decided, how can we keep this momentum and this excitement going? And so we decided to incorporate and put out short stories on top of all the other work that we do. So
very cool. And we have some of your books, but before we get to that, I want to talk about, you also work in a school district as a language therapist.
Right.
What's that like? What do you do as a language therapist?
Well, as a speech language therapist, I work with a lot of kids that have articulation problems, kids that have language-related problems. They can't speak clearly or put together sentences well. And then I also work with severe needs children who don't have a means of communication, and I help them find alternative means, whether it's through picture exchange or communication devices or anything like that.
Very cool. Yeah, I don't know if you've seen, I've been watching Speechless
on
ABC.
It's hilarious. Yes. Yeah. It's sort of realistic.
Is that sort of real? I didn't know how realistic it was.
Sort of realistic, yeah. It's interesting the way that they have his laser pointer on just a word board and everything. I tend to work with much more technologically involved devices.
Okay, so that's not very high tech.
Yeah, no, it's not high tech at all.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. See, I had no idea. Well,
right. Yeah. But it's hilarious. I love that show.
I know. Speechless, ABC. Sorry for the product placement real fast, but we had to. So we have some books, and I even love you brought these little book stands, so we're going to take a moment, put out some book stands.
Not any good if they're sitting flat.
I know, exactly. Normally I have to hold the books, and then they start to fall back and forth. All right. Is there an order you want me to put these books in?
Well, the green one, would go next.
Okay, the green one next.
And then the gold one. And then the red one.
Okay.
There you go. So this is the anthology that we put out, our first one, TikTok, 7 Tales of Time. So we all have short stories in there.
Okay.
And then it won the silver medal for Best Anthology of 2016 through the Evie Awards, Colorado Independent Publishers Association. And then it also won the gold medal for the book cover. We're really excited about that.
Yeah, I love that cover.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And then our second one will be out in April, and I can't reveal the title just yet, but it's all of the stories are inspired by song lyrics.
Oh.
And so we all had to choose a song and then write a short story, not about the lyrics at all, but something that was inspired by how we took what we took away from the songs.
Can you tell us which song you chose?
Well, when we made the decision to do this, Prince had just died. And one of my favorites was the one that he wrote for the Bangles, Manic Monday.
Yes.
So mine is all about a manic Monday.
I love it.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then we have Fade to Black.
And then Fade to Black is the first in my 5-book series.
Okay.
And that one was the one that was a finalist for Colorado Gold in the speculative fiction category. All of my series are, well, even TikTok is fantasy, sci-fi.
Okay.
And so I have more of an emphasis on fantasy in my 5-book series, but I bring in very strong sci-fi elements to it. Yeah.
And then after that we have Masks and Mirrors.
And then the second one came out, Masks and Mirrors, and I was actually selected or nominated for Independent Writer of the Year based on the second novel, just recently last year.
Cool. And I've noticed the first one is a little bit thicker than the second one.
Yeah. Well, that's all that world building kind of stuff going on.
Okay.
But it was really almost liberating to get past the first one because I've established all of the world and the characters, and then I could just really streamline into the story. So.
And then the third one?
And then the third one came out last winter, and Sleight of Hand, and everything changes for the core group of characters, and things start to take a very direct turn into a different direction for everyone. And then the fourth one will be out this winter, late January, early February, and that one is called Stack a Deck. And yeah, it's primarily a blue cover. So.
Cool. And where can people get your books from?
They're available everywhere: Amazon, ebooks, wherever ebooks are sold. I tend to do a lot of book signings at Tattered Cover, the Book Bar. But yeah, any place that a book is sold, you can get my books.
Really cool. And who is kind of your target audience, or who most gravitates to
Well,
these books?
you know, it wasn't meant to be YA. It was more, you know, adult kind of. But at the first Denver Comic Con that I was a featured author, a 12-year-old girl came up with her father, and she loved it so much she even wrote a book report on Fade to Black and everything. And I have a lot of teenage boys and girls that enjoy it. So, and I've had 80-year-old fans that have contacted me. So it's
just
pretty
anyone
much
who enjoys reading
mainstream.
is going to enjoy Sue Duff.
Exactly.
I have like a wall of Sue Duff right here. It's really awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Thank
that was
you.
wonderful.
It was great.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
Well, stick around. We got more fun coming up.
Great.